Good afternoon. In this video, I'm going to finish up the last part of Thy Kingdom Come's attacks on the King James Bible. And what the guy can't even understand. He not only can't understand Greek, and Greek word has more than one meaning based on context. That's why he wants the Strong's. If there was another meaning of this word here, he can't understand English. He can't read English. And we'll show that. We'll look at this first part here, manifest. He gets up, manifest is an error. Well, manifest, if you look at the word manifest, another word, a meaning for manifest is revealed. It's a synonym. It's the same. I mean, it's the same thing in English. If you look it up in a dictionary or in a synonym finder, you'll see it have the same meaning in English. We'll see here this stupidity of this guy. Went into Strong's Concordance to prove an error in the King James, and he thinks he's proven. That's how bizarre, idiotic this guy is. Let's go ahead here. He's at 12. Let me go back here a few minutes, but he's going to apocalypse. You know, tell us it means revelation and the Strong's Concordance. Blah, 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 blah.
Apocalypses, revelation, was not from any man. Galatians 1:12. Apocalypses is used to speak of the wrath revealed from God on mankind. Romans 2:5. The apocalypses, revelation of Jesus Christ, that's in Revelation 1:1, etc. So where is the error at? Well, the error is found in Romans 8:19. The KJB translate apocalypses as manifestation in Romans 8:19, but manifestation is Strong's G 5321.
Just because it's a different word for Greek word for manifestation doesn't mean that word, the revelation, that word can't mean manifestation in English, because manifestation means the same thing, revelation in English. That's what the guy can't understand. And the King James 21 has manifestation. King James 2000 is manifestation. Let's see here. I believe Tyndale had it too. There he has appear. He has the sons of God shall appear, which is manifest themselves. So there's no error there. There's no error there. He just can't read. He can't understand that the English word can be a synonym for reveal, because he doesn't understand English, no less Greek. Apocalypse. Let's see here. Let's see in the. Has one. This is a revelation of truth, generally with objective genitive. 2, revelation of a particular kind through visions. 3, in an eschatological sense, of a disclosure of secrets belonging to the last days. That being manifest, and manifest the sons of God. That's number 3, and that's why it's manifest. So it can be revealed or manifest. Manifested means the same thing as revealed. You don't believe me? Look up a synonym. Look it up here. Get yourself a book like this and see manifest means revealed. Manifest. Find it here. Manifest. Manifestation. Display, showing, show, exhibit, expedition, presentation, exposition, demonstration, exemplification, example, illustration, description, declaration, expression, profession, avowal, announcement, publication, airing, broadcasting, advertisement, public statement, exposure, expose, revelation. Revelation. Manifestation of the sons of God means revelation. They mean the same thing. It's a synonym. That's why these guys can't read English. So I mean, so there's no error in the King James Bible.
Phanerosis. So Romans 8:19 should say revealed or revelation, not manifestation.
No, manifestation means reveal. It means the same thing. They use a different word. Look it up. It's a synonym. It means it has the same connotation. And King James 21 has manifestation. King James 2000 has manifestation. So there's no error in the King James Bible.
NIV gets it right. ESV gets it right. NASB gets it right. Holman Christian Standard Bible gets it right.
Manifestation and revelation mean the same thing.
Young's literal translation gets it right. King James,
Now, the goes to you for not understanding English.
gets it wrong again. Another
This guy's an idiot.
error in the KJV, old Ed buddy. Now,
Learn reading English, old buddy. Manifestation means revelation. Has the same connotation, same meaning, it's a synonym.
on to the next mistranslation, which is going back to this Greek word again, Strong's G602, apocalypses. We find this word mistranslated again in the KJV.
Not again, he hasn't shown us mistranslated in the first place.
In 1 Corinthians 1:7 as the word coming. Coming is Strong's G 3952, parousia. Thus, this is a...
See, he thinks because there's another word for coming that it can't refer to that same Greek word. They have here three meanings in that Greek word. One of them is in the eschatological sense of disclosure of secrets belonging to the last days. That's what it means. It means the coming, the revealing of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Another mistranslation, because parousia is coming, apocalypses does not mean coming. It means...
So it does. There's an eschatological sense of the revealing of Jesus Christ at his coming. See, if he could actually read a Greek lexicon, he would know that. But he's going to Strong's, and then he's thinking, well, there's another word for coming and another word for revealing, and therefore, no, there's an eschatological sense of the word. That's what the King James Bible translators were using.
It's Revelation. So this is just another example. I can do this all day.
Do it all day, you can be wrong all day. Idiot.
We'll look at the next error now. The next error is found in Revelation 2:13. In verse 13, we've got Satan's seat. Seat in verse 13 is Strong's G 2362, thronos, which means throne. The KJV translates thronos as throne 54 times and seat 7 times. The Greek word for seat is Strong's G.
See, he thinks these guys were King James translators who were fluent in Greek. They could write in Greek. They could think in Greek. He thinks that these guys would make a mistake, that they wouldn't know the word thronos meant, and they would put seat there by mistake. No, get yourself an English a dictionary or a synonym finder, and you find seat is the same thing as throne. Same thing. It means the same meaning. So you don't have to use the word throne. You use the word seat to have the same meaning in that context. Because it's a synonym for throne.
2515 cathedra. Revelation 2:13 is not a cathedra, but a thronos. Revelation 2:13 should have been translated.
Revelation 2:13. Revelation 2:13. Again, you can look up this. A synonym for seat is throne. And let's see here. 2:13. The Dewey Weems has seat. So they're translating the word as seat, the seat of Satan. But seat and throne mean the same thing. Seat, throne, seat, throne. Let's see what Tyndale had here. Yeah, Tyndale had seat. Tyndale had seat. It means the same thing as throne. There's no problem with that word being used instead of Tyndale. So this isn't like some Church of England plot. Tyndale had seat, and the King James translators translated thronos as seat because it can be translated as seat because it has the same connotation as throne. Nothing wrong with that if you knew English.
Throne. Same also for Luke 1:32, Revelation 4:4, Revelation 11:16, Revelation 13:2, which all speak of the word throne.
The word thronos can be also translated as seat, because seat has the same connotation as throne. The synonyms. So there's nothing wrong with translating throne as Tyndale did. He translated the word thronos as seat. Nothing wrong with that.
So again, this is
Just because there's another word for seat doesn't mean you can't translate thronos as seat. You can. And other translations do that.
another mistranslation. The King James is full of them.
No, they're not. You know, your imagination, because you can't read English, and you certainly can't read Greek.
One of the most quite shocking errors in the KJV is in Exodus 22:28. In the King James.
Here's a guy. Now he's going to show you Exodus 22:28, and just shows you one thing: he can't read context, and he goes ballistic on this because these guys, they can't read, and he's going to talk about the issue of gods. Well, what the Geneva Bible does is they translate, the context shows you that the word there is referring to rulers, and that's what the context is. And in Exodus 7:1, Moses is called a god to Pharaoh. And so rulers will sometimes be called gods, and that is what that's how they're translating that in that sense. What the Geneva did was translated to as rulers, and as opposed to gods, and that's what the connotation judges, and that's what they were saying. That's in that connotation. Elohim can sometimes refer to rulers, human rulers, that God has put in position to represent him. And that's in the case of Moses, and you see that Moses is called a god to Pharaoh, who spoke through Aaron.
It says, "Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people." Thou shalt not revile the gods. What? That's not what that's supposed to say. You can look here in the other translations.
The word is Elohim. It's plural. That's why gods come up. And, you see it from Genesis 1:1. And the idea is that sometimes the word is translated as God, and sometimes it's translated as gods, depending on the context.
Like in the ESV, it says, "You shall not revile God, nor curse the ruler of your people." New American Standard, "You shall not curse God, nor curse the ruler of your people." So here it's talking about not blaspheming God, not reviling God. And then
So we're not reviling the rulers, who he called gods in that context. That's the context that he's using at 22:28. In that sense, that they were rulers. And that's how we know that from the context of the verse, which this guy can't read. Can't read English, can't understand English. These guys, they're not readers. They can't read. That's the problem. If they're reading the King James Bible, you don't need anything else. But they're not reading a Bible. They're reading garbage Bibles, and therefore they can't learn to read correctly. Context. King James Bible will teach you how to read because it forces you to understand context. If you let it. 28. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. That's the context. He's talking about judges and rulers in that context. He's using gods in that sense. Not the false gods. He's talking about gods in the sense that he has put people in charge who he is calling gods. And that's the context there of using Elohim. It would show you that if you read the... it wouldn't make sense to talk about false gods and then curse the ruler of thy people. Why would that rule of thy people have to do with false gods? It has nothing to do with that. So you have to understand context. He's talking about, just like when the idea that sometimes gods is used for the judges and rulers, not for false gods. But these guys can't grasp that. It's just beyond them.
KJV said, that doesn't matter. Just don't revile the pagan gods.
No, because the context will tell you that's some of rulers, judges. And if you look at Elohim, you look throughout all the uses of it, you'll see that sometimes it doesn't refer to gods, false gods, in that sense. Sometimes it's referring to rulers.
that's talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Thou shalt not
No, it's talking about rulers in the sense of judges that God has put over the Jewish people. Moses was called a god to Pharaoh.
revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people.
Okay? It doesn't go together with false gods. It goes together with rulers, judges.
Not, thou shalt not revile the gods of the pagan nations, which is the way the King James puts it.
No, it doesn't. You just can't read English. It's referring to gods that God, the judges, that God is calling gods in relationship to the fact that they represent Him. And He says, don't revile them. Moses was a god to Pharaoh, and that's what that relationship. Sometimes gods can mean judges and rulers, not always the connotation of false gods.
See, they lowercase letter and put an S on it. Again,
You guys know what he's talking about. But this is what you're going to get from these guys, just double talking nonsense. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that he's bringing up, I'd be happy to answer, explain, But you look up in English, seat means throne, is a synonym for throne. Gods in the connotation is not referring to false gods, it's referring to judges and rulers, just like the Geneva Bible has judges there instead. So they interpret it, yeah. But the judge putting gods there is a little translation. But it's referring not. If you look at how it's used throughout the Old Testament, you see sometimes it's used for rulers, and that's the connotation. And rulers are like people, the judges. Again, and manifestation means revelation, means it was revealed. That's another synonym. There's nothing wrong with it. And again, other versions use it. King James 21, King James 2000 use manifested. There's nothing wrong with that. He just can't. He thinks, well, there's a particular word for this Greek word. There's an eschatological sense of the word right in the BAGD talks, but he doesn't understand that. Look at Strong. Strong is comic book stuff. It's kiddie stuff. So people don't know how to read the language. It's like, look at this word here. You've got to look at the Greek language. You've got to look at the context and different connotations. And there's an eschatological sense of revelation, of revealing, coming. And that's how they were using it. Paul was using the King James translators were using it in that sense. He doesn't know anything about anything. This guy, he's wasting time. But again, hopefully, if you have any questions, particular things, feel free to ask. But this is the guy who can't understand English, and he certainly doesn't know Greek. He thinks running to a strong concordance is a lexicon where it's like prove something. Look at that. And the real other word, like in English, words have the words have more than one connotation, and then other words also have other different connotations, which also will have that same connotation crossover. You can't grasp that. These guys are like, they think the Greek word has one meaning. Just idiots. But that's what you get from these guys when they think, they know something by running to a Strong's concordance and, look at this word, it means this and it means that. And so, then they went to a dictionary and says, King James Bible, an error. King James is not an error. Bible doesn't prove it's an error because there was a feast of unleavened bread after Passover. Didn't mean the whole feast, that didn't mean the whole week. That's what Easter was used, because it couldn't mean Passover. But these guys, it just goes right over the head. They're determined to believe the lie and lead other people astray, thinking, well, I've proven an error. Look at these errors. You haven't proven one error. You just prove you can't read Greek and you can't read English. Amen. Thank you.